Baby, what's going on? It's Lit Talk, and I'm here, and I'm queer. And what better time to be queer other than June? It's inaugural, the one time of the year where you are celebrated for being the faggot that you are. Pride Month. On today's episode of Lit Talk, we're going to talk about all things pride, from the rainbow aspect, from the African diaspora aspect,
I need some,
from
like,
the pride of being a
colorful
man. So this is for all of you all who like to get up in heels and drag, who like to vogue, depth drop, and twerk. We're going to talk about what pride means to us and how you can utilize and access pride each and every day. Fellas, it's June. How y'all feeling?
Gay as hell.
I feel great.
You gay?
Gay as hell.
How you feeling?
Yeah.
Gay as hell.
I know that's right. Baby, we here.
So let's start the conversation about, like, what does pride mean to you? So when you hear the word pride, what does that mean? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? I know. I fucked you up with that, but didn't I?
You did.
Huh?
I feel like pride very similar to Black History Month for the opposing side. It's like holding people accountable for your history and then putting it blatantly in their face and having fun while you're doing it. Mm-hmm. It's just like a representation of everything that the community's been through, and like just a time to enjoy who you are.
Absolutely. It's a time to be gay as hell for me. And this is my issue. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the table right now. My issue with pride or with anything. You know, I think that sometimes you have the uppity gays that will sometimes be like, oh, like, this is not how you celebrate pride, going out and drinking and having sex and all that. Why not? You can't tell somebody what they want to do and how they want to celebrate it. Now, for Cinco de Mayo, when you was out there getting the margaritas for $2 and having sex after that, or when the Mexicans do, it's not an issue. Mm-hmm. Leave us alone. Can you sing the Be Who You Are for Your Pride, please?
No, I'm not doing it because I don't know that. I can see, let every voice and speak till earth and heaven ring.
Be who you are for your pride. Do what you want to do, and let people just be who they want to be. That's how I feel. As long as you're not hurting nobody, be who you want to be.
I think that y'all really hit the nail on the head. I would identify pride as creating space to have joy in your authentic self. So, like, having a sense of pride in your identity, no matter if you are queer, if you are man, woman, in between, neither, black, white, you know, having a sense of pride in who you are from a non-confrontational space, and having pride in a way to where you don't output or don't talk bad about other communities by highlighting yours. I think that's a large misconception that people think about. I think that sometimes people, during pride, people just put who they are so much in other people's face, and they focus on them, and they forget to say that, like, your pride is not the opportunity that is meant for somebody else.
Right.
For not living your own experience, or for not connecting with your experience. Your pride is about you, you know? And I think that sometimes, too, that folk use pride as a mechanism to hurt other people and to get back at folk. And I think, you know, in some spaces, we have lost the true essence of it. But for me, I feel like pride is your space to be who you are and to be proudful in your identity. Especially in a time, in a space where we live, where so much of who we are has to be closeted. Right. We have to dumb down how we choose to love. We have to dumb down our culture. We have to hide who we want to be. And so, like, this is the one time of the year where it's accepted, even amongst those folk who don't want to accept it. Like, those hella conservative people, they know what June is. They know what's going down. Just don't come outside.
The folks are so mad.
Yeah.
And then to add to that, you also don't necessarily have to be a part of the community to celebrate Pride. Right. It's also a time for allies. It's no different than celebrating any other Black History Month and you white. It's okay to celebrate with gays or whatever communities around you that are celebrating Pride.
So you telling me that for Juneteenth, the gays can bring their siblings out who are straight?
You can bring your siblings, but don't bring your kids.
Okay, right. Okay, so for those of you all who are watching that do not know what Juneteenth in Dallas gives, is that Juneteenth is another rendition of Black pride here, Black queer pride. We celebrate being Black people. We also celebrate our queerness. In some spaces, Juneteenth is only celebrating your Blackness, right? Because we all know what Juneteenth represents. But in Dallas, we choose to not only celebrate our Blackness, but we choose to infuse that with being queer folk. And we bring Black queer folks together from all across the country to have a good time and solidarity, conferencing, cocktails with cock and tail out, all right?
So how do y'all feel about the negativity around pride, whether that be religious, or whatever reason people like to spread hate around pride?
I think that hate creates hate and hurt people hurt people. I think that a lot of the negativity surrounding pride comes from a place of people not having the freedom to be who they are or not even having the awareness of how to celebrate themselves. Pride is nothing but a celebration of your identity and your experience, and it's not your place to judge people for how they choose to celebrate themselves. It's not my place to judge you for celebrating yourself by going to church every Sunday. It's not my place to judge you by wanting to get a group of your family members together through December and celebrate the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah. That's not my place. You should enjoy that because that's your opportunity to live in your experience and to be you. But to those folk who try to downplay pride, I say, fuck you. You know, I think that being a part of a marginalized community, pride is also a way that marginalized communities can come together to stand up and say, hey, baby, guess what? We know you don't like us. We know you don't care for us. We know you don't see us, but guess what? I'm still here. Yes, that's what I really feel about those folk who don't fuck with pride. Like, you can't fuck with me. I'm not fucking with you. Just let me be happy. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I think I've come to terms with too, like, people don't want equality, they want leverage, right? Like, I really feel like, and it's crazy, like, the oppressed be oppressors, like in our own community. Like, point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to fight family members first. Yeah. Like, it's so crazy. And so it's just so interesting seeing that. But yeah, I just think pride is about just being yourself and just having a good time. So yeah, I guess like a question for y'all is, for people, no. I guess we were talking about the religion. My take on, and I'm gonna keep it cute.
I know, cause baby, when you go in, you conspiracy theorist.
Correct.
Oh, God.
Are you really?
I can't deal with two of y'all.
My thing is that, like, a lot of times I feel like religious folks or overly religious folks cherry pick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Eating pork is a sin, right? Women wearing pants is a sin. Having your ears pierced is a sin. So when you go and get your baby's ears pierced and stuff like that, that's a sin.
Wearing different fabric at one time is a sin.
It's a sin. Having a child out of wedlock is a sin.
No, a whole bunch of down.
You know what I'm saying? And so if yeah.
I'm agreeing. Not only that, my whole thing being, and before I say this, I am a Christian. I'm a Christian, but somebody will sit here and preach a book to you and not necessarily reference the origins of that book. Most people read King James Version of the Bible. So you study this book of a man who was a known homosexual and then tell people that they can't be what the author of the book is that you worship. So that's one thing. And another thing is, like he says, the hypocrisy behind everything. You can't judge one person's sins off of another person's sins. Or one person's sins isn't greater than another person's sins. And then a third thing, Black people specifically will stand up at a rally and a route and say it's not okay to oppress this group of people, but it's okay to oppress that group over there. I never understood that. Like he said, y'all don't, or not y'all, a lot of people don't want equality, but they'll fight like they do, but they really don't.
So I think, that goes back to something that I say all the time. I think hurt people. And then unintentionally you do to others as in which things were done to you as a trauma response. Because if you were taught that was okay, if that's how you experience, sometimes you may think that you heal, but you're really not healed. It's just that you're displacing those emotions and that trauma into other spaces.
No, you good.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, like, and to be honest, like, I'm not a super, like, religious person or anything, but I guarantee you, if Jesus of the Bible was to come back today, a lot of people wouldn't even know who he was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people realize when he was on a cross and you had a person who was deserving to be on that cross, just say, hey, like, I want to come where you going. Jesus didn't ask, well, how did you get up here? What did you do before this? He just said, oh, okay, well, come on. If you believe it, then come on. He didn't ask no questions. He said, come on. And I think that sometimes people don't have that level. A lot of the Christians that we see today don't have that level of empathy.
Agreed. And another thing with a lot of Christians who preach that most people or most Christians that I've encountered who said being gay is a sin, I asked them to read me the verse that says that, and nobody can.
Right.
So you're really preaching something you can't stand on like that. And I've yet to hear somebody quote a verbatim verse that says being gay will send you to hell. And
the root word that was used was translated wrong. And I would highly suggest that you look that up. The information is out there. The information is out there, and I'm going to leave it at that.
And what we're going to do is that we're going to table that, and we're going to have to come back and take a deep dive into that conversation
topic for that.
on our religion episode. But I think when we talk about this level of pride, and pride comes from the word being proud, right? In order to, you show pride by being proud of something. I want to know, in life, in this current moment, what are you proud of? And how do you have pride? And how you show your pride in what you're proud of?
I'm proud of where we are today. And I'm proud of like the Marsha P's and individuals like that gave us the opportunity to be able to like be in relationships out. Like, I don't think people understand, like in the 90s, in the 80s, that wasn't a thing. That's why balls were at night, because people didn't want to be seen being gay or being looking gay, because they would get attacked. Like, today is a different time. So I think that like the fact that we are there, like it's a proud moment. And I really appreciate, our elders and our OGs who really fought and got us to where we are today.
I'll say for me, I'm probably, I never thought about this, but what comes to head is I'm proud of the rights that people have fought for. People before us have fought for, and even people still today fight for, because like he said, in the 80s and 90s, we couldn't necessarily comfortably be who we want to be in our spaces. Now, because of the people that fought before us, we can. So that's probably something that I kind of take for granted and don't realize.
I'm proud of my legacy. I think that as a Black queer person living in America, I come from a legacy of resilience. I'm proud of my ancestors who were enslaved, who had no options, who died so I could live. I'm proud of those folk who were diagnosed with HIV in the 80s that knew that they were going to die, but they still advocated so someone like me can live and walk freely. I'm proud of those folk who are yet to come, who will be able to live authentically in ways that I haven't had the opportunity to live authentically. I think that for me, I'm most proud of the legacy of the life that I live, the lineage that I come from, through my culture, through my community, and also the legacy that I'm choosing to create in this moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was real.
I know.
I know. And then I also want to say this too, going back to the OGs, we got to give a safe space for the OGs. And what I mean by the OGs, I'm talking about the 60, 70-year-olds that still be in the club. Let me tell you something. They didn't have that back then. You said, what you say?
I said, oh my God.
They didn't have that back then. So I want to say, just give them grace when we see them. If they come holler at you, just give them grace, because guess what?
That's fine. I'm going to give them grace. And they better give me a cocktail too. Elder.
All right. OG.
Baby.
OG, where my cocktail?
Yeah, I'll be your YN for the night.
Let me tell you.
Just give me my cocktail and it'll be all right.
I'm so nice to old people. Like, I'm not going to say old people, like, I guess like the 70, 80-year-olds.
So I think each and every day, like, how do you show your pride day to day? What does that look like for you?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
But it doesn't have to be from a queer perspective either. Like we talked about,
right.
Pride shows up and you living authentically as you and you being proud of who you are. So in that, how do you show your pride?
I don't think I intentionally show my pride because I'm naturally not a boastful person.
Right.
That's just me, my personality. I'm not, very boastful. I don't think I show my pride in that way. I think, I just think sometimes presenting or intentionally presenting as a strong Black man is probably my way of showing my pride of who I am, not necessarily anything around my sexuality.
I love that. How about you, Jonathan?
So again, I agree that I don't necessarily like show physically, like I'm not able to show how prideful I am of my sexuality. But I remember there was a exercise that Vive Healthcare had, and it talked about like leverage and stuff like that. But and how you can use your leverage to benefit. Like, and so I feel like I show up in spaces, being a chameleon. Like I can show up like this and be in spaces to educate people who may not want to perceive it from like a LGBTQ individual, but I'm able to perceive or. I'm able to show up like this to where they're not able to perceive like I'm gay. And so I use it as a leverage, and I'm able to educate individuals who would not be able to be educated if it wasn't someone that looked like me and you. Now, if it was somebody who they knew was gay and they could clock it, it'd be turned off. I'm able to go in churches and talk about like, you know what I'm saying? So, and it may not even be for that individual, but it's people in that church, I guarantee you, who are part of the LGBTQ, and I'm able to reach.
I know exactly what you're referring to because I tap into that a lot. I don't know how to verbalize it, but I know exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah. But I feel like Chris can do the same thing. Like you're able to.
I'm able to what?
You're able to code switch. So it's a gay code switch. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a code switch.
It's a code switch.
Baby, this queen right here is getting clocked every time.
Chris ain't getting clocked. Chris.
No.
My mind instantly went back to when you said, I'm super gay.
I'm super gay. And they know how to, I think like, as y'all were talking, in my mind, I'm like, I asked him this question, how am I going to answer this question? And so the song, I walk like I talk, like I know that I'm the shit. Yeah. I think it's about showing up in confidence. I think that my level of pride is the confidence that I have. No matter what room I go into, no matter what space, hell, even if I'm at Kroger, Walmart, or the 7-Eleven, I'm going to walk in that hole like I own that bitch. Even if I got on some flip-flops and some Nike shorts, I'm going to walk in there like I own it. Own it. The holes in my sock. Or the Louis V's on my feet, no matter what that looks like. And I think that when you walk into spaces confident in who you are, that inspires confidence because people see that and they be like, baby, you wrinkle, but bitch, you tearing it like you was starched for the gods.
Let me tell you something. Trey just saw Chris at the gas station. Was like, "Oh, I see you. I see you.
Shut up.
Oh, I see you." Okay. But you see how he inspired them? They may come out next week.
Right.
Yes, this is not. We did not fabricate this story.
We didn't. I was on the phone
for
with
the
him.
show. This literally just happened like 2 hours ago. I was going into the 7-Eleven to get a Red Bull to film tonight because a Red Bull is now wearing off. And the boy just stopped me as I was walking out. He was walking in. He said, "What's up?" I said, "What's up? What you doing?" I said, "Nothing. Give me a." He said, "I like your show." I said, "Thank you." I said, "You stay over here?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Where you stay?" "Oh, you stay behind me." He said, "Take my number." I said, "No, you take mine." Walk like you talk like you know that you the shit. That's confidence. That was my pride back to YN.
That's it.
So now, do y'all think an individual can be too prideful, or okay? So or do y'all think not the gayness, but gay can be forced on people too much? Even with TV, the topic around TV and
okay, so
hold on, wait,
define too much?
Everybody pause.
Okay, go ahead.
Everybody shut the fuck up. You shaking the table. You shaking the table. Oh, I'm just playing. Rizzo.
I mean, just in general, do you think
so what's too much? Like, give me an example.
I
don't want to give my example.
Okay. But for me, growing up, what was too much was the resident gay boy who was in beauty shop selling them fake ass bags, who was always doing a death drop somewhere. Like, that was my first time.
Okay.
That was too much.
That's a good example.
I felt like a lot of times people talk about like this gay agenda. And I think that in mass media, what we see of a gay person is typically who gay people abroad are not, and it's put out there for entertainment purposes, for laughs, shits, and giggles. That I feel like is where this whole idea of pushing a gay agenda comes from, because what people see from a heteronormative society is that gay people are extremely different and we don't fit in, when in reality, most of us, you will never know that we're gay until we told you.
Agreed.
But,
you see what I'm saying?
But can we not say that it's that a straight agenda is pushed? Like, you know how many movies is straight folks kissing and all up on each other?
Definitely. Straight agenda is straight people don't have to. Why is there not a term for, you never say that, oh, I'm straight, or straight people coming out the closet is straight. It always got to be gay people have to come out the closet.
Is that not a straight agenda? If it's girls and boys kissing and pecking on each other?
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I agree with what y'all saying. Yeah. However, I also see certain instances where you may be watching something on television that doesn't have anything to do with sexuality, straight or gay, and they'll throw gayness in it for likeness.
Yeah, but they don't know.
It may not even apply to the show, but they may throw it in for likeness.
It's like you'll watch a certain show and they just make sure somebody got to be gay. It always got to be some gay shit. And I think that they will tell you that it's for representation. They'll tell you it's for equity. And I know that representation matters, because I would be one to say is that, okay, bitch, why can't we just have a TV show and a man just so happen to be gay and he gay and it's just cool with it. And everybody cool with it.
He ain't got to do the most.
Like, what's that show? It's a show that came on Schitt's Creek. And so if y'all know what Schitt's Creek is,
I know what you're talking about.
Right,
yeah.
Schitt's Creek is about this affluent family who lost all their money. It's the mom, it's the dad,
the brother.
It's the brother and the daughter, and the son is gay. But everybody on the show is okay with the son being gay. It's just that he's just gay and he is who he is. So in those scenarios, I really appreciate that, because that's what I feel like pride should be. That's what we should be highlighting. We should be highlighting who we are in these normal fashions and facets where they make sense. But when you just throw in a gay person in there and it doesn't make sense, that's where it can be looked at as pushing a gay agenda. Or when you throw a gay person in there and that gay person is the problem or the issue. There's a difference, right? So you can have that representation there, and that representation is normal, where, he's the basketball player just so happens to be gay, and everybody's okay with that. He comes to the basketball game, and his man is right there, and his man is over there with the basketball wives, and they chilling, and everybody's okay. Deferring that, this man is a basketball player, he's gay, and everybody got a problem with it.
Right.
So for me, that's where I feel like the problem for me lies in, is that pushing the gay agenda from a point of hate, but not a point of normalcy. You know,
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about that.
So for me, I think, and it's not a too prideful thing or anything like that. I think it's more of when people are too loud about it in quiet spaces. For example, if you're just walking down the street and it's like the most loud person.
You being extra.
Yeah, you being really extra, doing a lot, causing attention to yourself or intentionally trying to get people to look at you. When you're like that all the time, it's not a pride thing, but it's like calm down a little bit.
Yeah, or I'm going to tell you this, or when people try to out other people.
That part, I hate that.
Right? I hate that. Like, I'm gay and I'm proud about it. You should be proud about it. You should be gay. You should be open. That's not your space.
And I want to say this too, like, it's not safe for everybody to be out. Some people are in predicaments to where they can't. Like, say if it's somebody still living with their parents, like, you can't come out because guess what? Your parents may kill you or put you out on the streets. It may be safer for some individuals to be DL, or it's some celebrities out there that can't come out because they may lose their coin. I get it. I'm not finna lose my coin behind you hoes.
But you know what, Jonathan, you make a good point. That's why I feel like for folk who can engage in pride, that's why it's so important. Because there's so many people that have lost their lives due to having a sense of pride in who they are. Yeah. So for folk who have the power and who have the courage to live authentically as themselves, they're living in these moments of pride, not only for them, but for those folk who are no longer here because they were just trying to navigate the world as who they were. Yeah. And somebody else chose to take their life for them.
Like it's so many people who reach out and be like, oh my gosh, like I aspire like the work that you do and all this type of stuff. I see you posting like I'm talking about trade. Trade's like, I aspire to be as outspoken as you.
Oh my God.
That's why I don't shade like DL men and stuff like that because everybody can't come out.
Yo, I had a conversation with this man last night. We was testing on y'all. I've been talking about everybody I talked to on outreach last night. So anyways, it was these two men that had tested. And so we was just talking or whatever. So I convinced the man to test. And like while he was waiting to get on the van to test, he was just telling me, he was like, bro, I really appreciate this. I need to come out here and get tested. Like he was like, I was locked up for 17 years. I'm out now. I'm 39. I got a girl. But I think I'm ready to tell my girl that I like men.
Yeah.
And he was like, you being out here and being so comfortable. And of course, he was like, looking good. Has inspired me to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, inspired me to be like, maybe I could do it. And I told him, I was like, well, you have to learn how to live life for yourself. And and I literally said, you have to take pride in what you like. And you have that autonomy. And you got to be transparent. Yeah. Because there's two types of people in this world. There are folk that live life for themselves. And there are people that live life for other people. Yeah. And typically, those folk who live life for other people end up losing that life a whole lot sooner.
And
this is true.
That's the beautiful thing. And I guess like that's the why the conversation is so important, because once you get to that place of like, you know what, I don't care, or you get to a place to where you can be out, it is the most beautiful feeling, y'all. Like it is like what was like, and it goes back to that mental health of like not giving a damn, right? Like, like what was that like for y'all when you was like, and I guess we kind of talked about like just not giving a damn or like just being free. Like I'm really gay out here and I don't care.
You know what? Oh my God. I had my I'm gay as fuck moment again. I have many of those. When I went to DC Pride recently. I've done a lot of prides. I have been doing prides, sticking out the house. I was sticking out the house going to Atlanta Pride when I was like 15, 16.
Oh my God.
For Labor Day and going to Memphis Pride, being in the park. Yeah, I'm a wild boy. I was a wild boy. But I went to DC Pride and
PK or GK?
PK.
Like, Pastor
Boots.
Kids. Okay, yeah.
Boots. But like I was at DC Pride and I was at an event. I was at this event. It was like this backyard cookout, and it was like 500 people outside in the yard. And I just looked around at so many beautiful black bodies, and it was masculine men, it was feminine men, it was trans men, it was trans women, it was big, tall, small, frogs, fat, ugly, and indifferent. And everybody was just so comfortable in being themselves. And I looked at me and I was like, oh my God, I'm out here with these people, being myself, flirting with men, feeling comfortable with that. And it created like this type of freedom and joy that I forgot that I had, you know?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know what my moment was. I never really came out to my parents per se. They've asked me directly. Now, my response to my parents will always be, what do you think? And I'll try to provoke them to say it. I have said it like previously a long time ago. So I feel like now y'all trying to convince y'allself because I already told y'all. So for me, I'm kind of I've always like kind of been who I am from a young age to a certain extent. And it's always been, if you like it. If you don't, you don't. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, it's not for you. Right. So yeah, I don't think I've ever had that moment, but yeah, I just always been comfortable with myself.
How about you? About 15 years ago, you used to be identified as a trade.
Oh, I was turning them up. And then, baby, in my trade days, let me tell you. No, but...
And like feminine boys.
But again, though, it being trade, like, or being DL, it was like you would have sex, but you wouldn't feel comfortable having sex. Because you'd be like, damn, like, what if they tell my business? Or
you talking
damn.
about with women or men?
I'm talking about with men. When I was DL, like, it was like, you would have sex with men and be like, damn, like, I wonder, like, who you gonna tell?
I ain't never had that problem.
Yeah,
but and that's why I say, like, coming out and just being free. Can y'all play the Freedom Beyonce? Freedom, or is it gonna be copyrighted?
Freedom, I can't lose. Freedom, help me lose.
That's it. Like loose. Like I'm free. Like
break every chain.
I don't have to worries.
I don't have to. No worries.
I get that. Yeah.
So I can move how I want to move. Like if anything I post go viral, guess what? I'm gay. Like what?
You know what? I I think I want to ask y'all one final question before we end. What was your first Pride experience like? Like, do you remember your first Pride? What was that like? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Atlanta. Okay, so at this age in my life, I had never been around gay people. Never been around gay people. I think I was probably 18 when I left home and moved to Atlanta. One of those things where you want to find yourself. And so my cousin was there, and I just so happened to move Pride Month. And Pride. No, it was Atlanta's Pride weekend. That's the when I moved.
Labor Day.
Yeah, Marquette.
Oh my God, 708.
Right. Shirtless, drunk. I mean, I feel like when you go to your first Pride, you get that initial feeling of community and acceptance if you've never been to a Pride. But yeah, good times.
How about you?
I don't know if I'm gonna have to show. Well, actually, my first Pride, my nerves was bad because again, it was the community piece. Like, I didn't know. I was like, oh my God, like these people are really like out here having a good time. Like I didn't expect it to be like that. Like because I came from a place of like, this is bad. We shouldn't be doing this. Wait, these people are living their life. It was inspiring. Like, oh, I can do this, right? Like I can do the same. Like I can really be out here with the folks living my best life. So it was a little bit much, but in a good way. I was overwhelmed. Had a few drinks. Although I was probably like 18, but I had a good time. I did.
Yeah.
I was 15. Picture it, Sicily, 1692, or whatever the phrase is. I never forget it. I was 15 and back home. It was Memphis Pride. And for those of y'all that know or don't know, Memphis is very, very ghetto. Like Memphis is very like, and the gays in Memphis are like, So if Memphis is like, the gays just like, You got to read between the lines. And I'll never forget, I snuck out the house and I hopped out the window and it was this club called Club 901. The area code in Memphis is 901. And me and my friends, we used to hop the fence and go through the back door. Because of course we had to sneak into the club. And I walked in, it was just like so many people that I had never saw. And like it was back in the day where everybody wanted to be like a rock star. So like you had the studded belts and the shades and the triangle and the pyramid and all of that.
Yeah.
You were jerk. I know. You were jerk. Skinhead. Oh. Yeah, and so it was so many different people in the club. Because I was with my young punks, my YPs, and we was out having a good time, flirting with all the older men and stuff like that. And it was these entertainers. It was these, at the time, y'all excuse my language, it was these big manly looking women. They were drag queens, not women of trans experience, because they were in drag. Big manly looking women that was just moving on stage, and I was like, oh my God. They got on these big gowns, like people are throwing money, and people was just so happy. And so in my mind, I was like, these folks look weird as fuck. Like they ain't got on no clothes. They look scary like clowns, but they so happy looking how they looking. Right. And I'm like, if these folks can be so happy looking how they looking and look at me, this is where I need to be. And so from then, I was just on outside. I went from Memphis Pride to Atlanta Pride to Nashville Pride to DC Pride to Dallas Pride to Splash to Latino Oasis to Sizzle. Pieces. I used to get my pieces, darling, and they wanted a piece of me. All right, so this has been our special episode about Pride. Make sure y'all like, comment, hashtag, retweet, and tell your friend to get lit with Lit Talk. And next time y'all come in, make sure y'all have y'all cocktail or whatever you use to get lit with you. This has been another great episode.
And let us know y'all first Pride experience, and if you haven't had it, let's have it this Juneteenth. How about that?
How about that?
Juneteenth dates. What's the dates?
What if this episode come out after Juneteenth?
Come to the next one, 2026.
Thank you. I tweet it again. I'm Chris.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Tobias. And thank you for tuning in.
Bye.
Peace.